Hello and welcome to another video from EasyGeek TV. In this video, we'll show how you can add a second internal hard disk drive. There are different case scenarios where you want to add a different internal disk drive, preferably a mechanical one, because you can probably use it as a backup for system restore and other files in between, and other functions as well. Now, there are different scenarios as mentioned. Like if you got an old laptop, you probably could remove the optical disk drive and add an SSD drive into it, or a mechanical disk drive, which is preferable, so that you can use it as a second storage device within your computer. If you don't have that option, well, you can always use an external one. But in this video, we're particularly focused on how you can add another internal disk drive. Now, in my case, I have used a desktop device since the beginning of these tutorials, so I'm going to do the same in this tutorial as well. And to do that, we need to go to the Start menu and search for disks. This is the equivalent of disk management in Windows world. I'm going to open that. Now, as you can see, this is the internal disk, the SSD storage device I've used to install my Linux Mint Mate operating system. We don't want to touch that. I've also connected the optical disk drive. In this case, we're going to use it later in other videos. But in this instance, I've also added an internal disk drive, which is a spare disk drive I had in my place, a 2.5-inch disk drive, taken off of a old laptop. So this is a perfect, I can use this to show how you can add it. Now, this comes from the Windows world. We want to go to the three dots in here on top, and I'm going to select format disk. We're going to use the default ones, GPT format. Now we're going to ask us for the password. Type in your own password. And as you can see, now we've got free space. This is how a brand new disk comes with, but since I took this from an old laptop computer, I've converted this to no partition at this moment. So I'm going to use the plus sign in here to create a new partition. Essentially, we're going to use the whole disk space, and I'm going to name this as backups. Perfect name for this. And we're going to use the Linux style formatting, extended for journaling system. Go ahead and select create. So it is done. Essentially, it's not yet done. Yeah, sorry. As you can see, okay, now we're done. Now we're done here as opposed to that. Where we can find it now, we can open the computer app, and it is right here. So as you can see, it comes up as backups. Now there's another step we want to do. So we're going to fire up disks again, and I will explain why. So let me close the other window. Let's get back to the disks. Now we're going to select the second internal disk drive in this case. Let's go to the gear icon. Now this is where we want to make changes so that the system mounts it at the beginning. Once the system starts or restarts, it will be automatically mounted for us. So we don't want to use that session defaults. Disable that. This is what you want to see. Mount at system startup. Show in user interface. It will show up as this. Now, mount point, you can leave as it is, but this is where it will make things easier for us. We'll use the label identify as. This is quite a long string, so we only use the name for the disk, which we created earlier. So select the label backups, file system auto, and you're going to select OK. Again, you type in your password, and then that's it. So we're going to restart it so we can see if this is taking place yet. Let's go and restart the system. Restart. Since this is a SSD installed system, this shouldn't take too long to restart. So the system is loading. Type in your password again. Using the password in the Linux world is quite often, very, very often actually. And now, as you can see, apart from the welcome window, you can see that the backup disk has been mounted. Now we can use this mechanical disk drive as a secondary drive. Let's say when we want to download a lot of stuff, if that's the case, it's preferable that we use the mechanical disk drive and leave the SSD for the system alone. So it will be the default for the system will be the SSD. Let me fire up disks again to demonstrate what I mean. As you can see, this is the default disk where the operating system is installed. In our case, is Linux Mint Mate, and this is the backups disk. Well, imagine that if you are very fresh, like a beginner on the Linux world, imagine this as the D drive in the Windows world, although not perfectly exact explanation, but just imagine it like that. Let's say this is the D drive where you usually store the data. So as you can see, it's quite straightforward, very simple. And now we're going to use this space to create a folder where the restore or TimeShift as is used into the Linux world, the system restore backups are stored into. So we don't want to use the primary drive to store the system restore points. We want to use the secondary mechanical drive for this purpose. This is very, very important. So I'll close the video here. Hopefully this video was useful to you. If so, do like the video, subscribe, and follow up for more videos. Thanks, and see you in another video. Bye bye. A quick edit, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed, but you see at the bottom of the taskbar, you've got the network connection and the volume icon twice. Now, there's nothing to worry about that. It just so happens to happen not many times, but it just so happens, so don't worry about that. All you have to do is just restart. Don't worry about that. So if you restart, everything should become normal. I don't know why this happens. I've noticed that since I use Linux Mint Mate as my daily driver for quite some years. And I've noticed that sometimes especially the volume icon shows up at least 2 times. All you have to do is just log out of the system and come back, and it should be okay. Or maybe just restart. So I'm going to log in again. Yeah, that seems to happen again. Let's try and log out again. There's nothing to worry about really, but as I said, well, I'm just gonna switch it off and turn on the system again. The system is on. Off, sorry. I've restarted the system, or should I say started it again. Now this is just annoying, nothing to worry about really. So let's wait a bit. I'm just including this into the video because I know you will come across this, and I've not found a solution so far. There might be some sort of solution. I'm gonna put in my password again. There's literally nothing to worry about. As you can see, we're back and everything looks normal. For some reason, you just get this double icons in here To me, on other systems I've installed, usually the volume icon, as I said, comes up twice, but very rare cases. So that should pretty much sum up for this video. I hope this was useful to you. So nothing to panic, nothing problematic in this. It's just some sort of a glitch into the desktop environment. So take care, no worry. Thanks again.